Hello, this guide is going to detail how to do a magic rotation side of your sun. Please know that this rotation is specific to bridding, so we're going to end on pretty high adren, which is normal for somebody wanting to swap styles right after their sun is over. I have this rotation here on my screen. For Tumikin's armor, this rotation is very standard. There's not really much wiggle room for improvisation in Magic anymore because of this 5-piece set effect for Channeled Might, which, if you're unaware, whenever you cast Asphyx, you get a Channeled Might buff after a full duration Asphyx has been cast. Take off one of these pieces. And the normal duration of that Channeled Might, which gives plus 15% critical strike damage usually, is only 3.6 seconds. So without Tumikin's armor, after a full duration Asphyx, you just want to G-Conk and Omnipower to get that max amount of efficiency from this Channeled Might buff. But with Tumikin's Resplendence, that buff instead lasts 9 seconds and gives you 35% critical strike damage bonus rather than the, I think I said 15%. Because of this buff, it's a very standard what you're going to be doing after that first Asphyx, which is the majority of your sun rotation. And then after that, you're weaving G-Conk and Wild Magics between powerful abilities until your sun's about to run out and you finish on your second Asphyx. You want to start every sun rotation off with Insight Fear to cast a G-Sonic and a G-Conk, which will decrease the amount of adren your Nami costs. And after that, you want to swap to Xang because it gives you a little bit of a DPS increase on your basic attacks. So basically your G-Conks during your sun. The other thing I want to mention is that I start off magic rotations with the Channeler's Ring on. This is only for if you have the Tumikin's buff, because it increases the critical strike damage when using channeled abilities and critical strike chance while using channels with further 4% with each additional hit. Because of Tumikin's armor, my Asphyxiate hits 8 times instead of, I think, normal is 4, right? So you get a lot of value out of this Channeler's Ring, especially if you have the enchantment. But after that first Asphyx, you're going to swap to Reavers, and you can either camp the Reavers or swap to it again when you do your final Asphyx. I typically just use my Channelers for the first Asphyx and then swap to my Reavers. Note that this rotation after my Asphyx goes a Runic Charge, which you can cast at the beginning of your Asphyx. You can cast it outside of GCD and during channels, okay? And you're casting it to buff your G-Conk. So when you cast this and you use G-Conk, each attack grants an additional 10% crit strike chance. So your G-Conk will give a plus 30% crit strike chance to your next ability, which is going to be your Omnipower. So you're basically guaranteeing, almost absolutely guaranteeing every hit of your Omnipower is going to crit. And then you want to do a Wild Magic into a 5-tick Tendrils. Tendrils typically hits 3 times, or sorry, hits 4 times, but with a 5-tick, it's going to hit 3 times. And that's going to be the full duration of that Channeled Might buff. So you're maximizing the amount of guaranteed crits that you're able to do after your Asphyx to optimize that 35% critical strike damage, okay? Alright, so this is what the rotation looks like in practice. Okay, and this is the 5 tick tendrils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cancel. And you can swap channelers if you want here. I personally don't. And that is a magic rotation. Thank you so much for watching.